Being here this morning. We called this press conference for two reasons. The first reason is to let our businesses know what type of activity is going on inside our community and to make them aware of things that they can do to prevent it. And also to let them know and let sovereign citizens know that we're not going to tolerate the type of behavior that's going on in our community. Over the last several days, we've been conducting, in conjunction with the Calhoun-Cleveland County District Attorney's Office, with the FBI, and with the Riverside PD, an undercover investigation on a couple of sovereign citizens who live over in Riverside, Alabama, who have been attempting to extort and extorted from area businesses. We have made one arrest, which is Mr. Everett Leon Stout. He's 72 years of age. He's originally from Scottsboro, Alabama. And Mrs. Myra Claire Schultz, who is wanted. She is 67 years old, and she is somewhere in the Jackson County area at this time. These two individuals over the past weeks have been attempting to extort over $1.6 million from area businesses in filing false liens against their property. When these people do this, it ties up the businesses and basically shuts the business down. And what they do is file these fake liens in the court system and through the banks, and then they attempt to extort from the business owner money to make these liens go away, because it's very costly for these businesses to get these liens taken off. Mr. Stout is charged with one attempt of theft of property, second of a $267,000 mobile home. He's also charged with one count of extortion, first degree, for the $1.6 million. And he's also charged with 13 attempted extortion, first degrees. His bond's been set at $510,000 for all of these charges. I want to talk just a second about the sovereign citizen movement. As you know, a couple of months ago, we had a large class. It was hosted by the Department of Justice at our Performing Arts Center on domestic extremism. Domestic extremism is what these sovereign citizens are considered by the FBI and the Department of Justice. I consider them paper terrorists. They can be violent, but what they do is they use papers in their common law to extort money from our businesses and citizens. Their tactics also include harassing law enforcement, court officials, and government officials. As you know, both of these individuals, looking at them, look like grandmother and grandfather. But as you know, sovereign citizens can all be very deadly to law enforcement. Just a few years ago, some police officers' lives were taken in Arkansas due to sovereign citizens. But we wanted to make the business community aware that these individuals of what they're doing, and we wanted to put the sovereign citizens on notice to let them know that we're not going to tolerate this type of behavior, and that we will prosecute them and put them in jail. And I'm going to turn it over to our district attorney and let him finish up.
I'm going to give you a little idea of how this came to be. We got an anonymous tip from a concerned citizen that we had a sovereign citizen in our area filing liens that literally are just made up. And I'll give you a scenario that's similar to our fact pattern. I come to a local business, I tell them I want to buy something very substantial, an RV valued at close to $300,000. I provide you with what purports to be a check or some sort of debit note against some pretend account that I have with the government that the sovereign citizens say we all have based on our Social Security number. You say, take that check and get out of here. I don't know what that is. That's not real money. Go away. The police have to be called to escort you off the premises. That's how all this kind of got started. Then you take over $1 million lien and go file it with the probate court, or try to have somebody file it with the probate court. Once it's filed, the business then has a difficult time financing things and conducting their regular business. So then you call or send a third party in to talk to that business and say, hey, for this certain amount of money, I'll withdraw that lien and go away. You will never see from me again. So it's just clear extortion of businesses. This was done on one business. Again, thanks for the Oxford Police Department, the FBI. This tip from a concerned citizen turned into our ability to get an undercover officer in with the sovereign citizens. They trusted that person. Those conversations were documented. And we were able to document the actual extortion that took place in one case. There were 13 different banks that were also targeted, and again, thanks to the good police work done by the city of Oxford and our federal partners, that extortion was stopped before it started. So that's what the attempted extortions are. I can't go much further into the facts, but that's the basic parameters of how these people do business. This individual and this individual have both previously been prosecuted for similar acts in other counties. We stepped up because I don't want this in my counties, and they have both been prosecuted both on the state and federal level for similar acts. As a matter of fact, we've been advised that Mr. Stout goes around teaching people how to do this, and we've got evidence in our area that he was trying to recruit other people to do the same thing that he was doing. So this was, again, a good tip from a citizen who was concerned and did the right thing and called law enforcement. It was excellent police report or work from our local agency, Oxford, working together with our federal partners in the FBI and other surrounding agencies, and they got on this thing before it got worse. And they have built a good case for me to carry forward.